Hi, my name is Achazya Tanaya Rayna, but many people call me Tanaya. In this video, I will be presenting about my personal project titled Mirror into the Minds and Lives of Schizophrenics. The goal of this project is to lessen the prejudice towards schizophrenics. People still get irrationally fearful of schizophrenia and those who have it, especially the ones in social institutions, and this is because there's no idea what they're doing since they're in their not right state of mind. However, just because some people have schizophrenia doesn't mean that they aren't human. I was also interested in knowing about schizophrenics myself, which is why I chose this project. And the global context that relates to this project is identities and relationships, which has a trend of physical, psychological, and social development. Schizophrenia falls under this global context because it is a mental illness that occurs from poor social and physical developments. These factors may affect one's identity as certain situations shape their personalities. If people had better social and physical developments, the chances of getting a mental illness would be slim. The product is a book titled Mirror into the Minds and Lives of Schizophrenics that tells the life stories of schizophrenics and their experiences with the mental illness from where they first had it up until now. And it's also accompanied by illustrations to showcase the hallucinations that they've had or are currently still having, and it serves to show to others how these schizophrenics have been living their lives up to now. The preparation of this product starts with the brainstorming, and for the brainstorming, I knew that I wanted to make a project about psychology because my mom's a psychologist and she inspired me since she works part-time in a social institution. So I was inspired to make a project related to schizophrenia particularly. So I decided to make a book about the lives of schizophrenics, and once this was done, I decided to do some research about it through books and articles. Once I had already accumulated the basic knowledge that I needed to have, I started to look into observation, and in this step I wanted to interview an expert and go observe a social institution to see how schizophrenics live their lives, and I also wanted to interview some schizophrenics for the book. I managed to do the experts easily because it was easy finding an expert, and for the observation at a social institution was a lengthy process because I had to go to the government office to get a letter that permitted me to interview the schizophrenics at the social institution, but it managed to work out, and I had managed to gather 5 life stories of these schizophrenics. Regarding the creation of the product, it started with making the drafts based on the information that I accumulated of the life stories of these schizophrenics. So at first it was a bit difficult because I wasn't sure what point of view to do, and after asking a teacher about it, I managed to make it into a first person's point of view based on their side of the story. So once I managed to finish the draft, I started to make the illustrations, and for these illustrations to work out, I had to reread the stories and find some moments that I wanted to document in pictures. And once I already finished this, it went through a lengthy process of scraping sketches and getting new inspiration from the stories. I managed to do this, and at first I wanted to publish the books, but this would take a long time. It would take a month, and the due date was approaching soon, so I decided to print it at a digital printing store, and it worked out fine, and I reported to my supervisors. I turned the final book in, and that is how I created the product. Once the project had been completed, I was able to gain more knowledge on the topic and the global context, which is identities and relationships with strand physical, psychological, and social development. This extends to global context because not only have I discovered that schizophrenics are affected by their environment, but also by the people that perceive them. And on the other hand, I also managed to gain and improve my learner development skills, which are communication, open-mindedness, and commitment. And I improved in all of these aspects because I used it in the process of creating the product and the process of preparing for the product itself. And I have learned some weaknesses and strengths to myself, such as I managed to interview people well, but my weakness would be probably keeping my time management and my commitment to the project. But in the end, it all worked out by itself. Thank you for listening to my personal project presentation.